Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news as we unpick the unravelling story of the sale of Manchester United. The race is still on. That is the official line. However, we're going to dive into the share price. Big shout out to the legends who were on the live stream last night at midnight. I think we did it best. I think we always do it best. I think we've got the best community and I think we'll do it justice again here this morning because, I think a lot of people just try and react and start chucking opinion out there. And as I said, we unpicked what was going on with the share price and I think we know more and more about what's going on now. And the bottom line is we had Ben Jacobs on the show yesterday. He has put a tweet out now saying that there's not expected to be anything groundbreaking in the next few days and neither party has been informed of anything. I therefore think, and you might not like this, but I do have a positive spin on this. I therefore think we're going to see that share price drop. That share price will drop, in my opinion now, today as the market reopens, and it will start dropping down again for the next few days. I don't think that means that it's not going to be QATAR. I just think that last night was probably jumping the gun a little bit, but I still think that you've got to look at it and think that it is going to end up going that way. We've also got some transfer news for you as well. Some big developments around David De Gea, potentially around Kylian Mbappe if things come off. But let's get into the latest Manchester United news because I don't know where you've been in the last 12 hours, but let's take it back to last night. We finished the 8 o'clock show about 10 o'clock. Story came out from QATAR that QATAR had won the race. The Manchester United share price started to rocket. We were obviously live a little bit later than that, having spoken to a few people, had a few WhatsApp. Those people are now starting to put their tweets out, but last night they didn't want to because they wanted to get some clarity. They said Man United, the Rain Group, QATAR, Sir Jim, very tight-lipped and remain tight-lipped. I think there has been some information coming out from somebody. Maybe it's United, maybe it's the Rain Group. But this morning, that is why you've got people like Ben Jacobs and everybody saying nothing expected in the next few days. United are playing this down now. They're slowing this down. Why? I don't know. Christian, welcome to the Members Club. Also, welcome to Ilias and Martin. I think they're slowing it down because they're not ready to announce it. And as we know, QATAR want this to be announced very, very quickly, but United don't want to announce it yet. I don't know why that is. The share price is the really interesting thing. Before I give you opinion, I want to give you facts. There's a few things I want to tell you, and I'm going to try and play this at a level where everybody will understand it. Over the last week, the United share price has been around $18, $20. Last night it peaked at around $26. At the moment it's down at about just under $25, $24, right? What does that mean? In a very simple sense, you don't need to understand the markets, you don't need to understand sales. When a share price goes up by $5 and it's around $20, something's going on. Now, it is starting to stabilise now. The reason it will shoot up is because people think it's about to be sold. And the only people that it can be sold to that will cause that price to go up is QATAR. Because QATAR are the only people who are buying all of the club. So the shareholders, of which there are 31%, when United gets sold, they will get a higher price. So the price will go up because people are anticipating that. When Sir Jim Ratcliffe buys the club, he's only buying 69%. He's not buying the rest of the stock exchange. So the price will go down because they're not going to get anything. So that price going up means QATAR. It doesn't mean Sir Jim. That's a very simple way to put it. However, it is expected that if QATAR buy Manchester United, those shares will go for about $35. So what experts are saying is, for this to be nailed on that United are selling to QATAR, that share price needs to be about 30. It's on its way and it's promising, but it needs to be about $30 for it to be perceived as this is going to be a done deal. So it's on its way there, but it's not quite there. But it's moving in a direction that would certainly suggest something's happening. Now, I actually think that share price is going to drop. I think it's going to come down. I don't know where it's going to land. At the moment, if you look at Man United stock price on Market Watch, we're down to $24. It's dropping quite quickly at the moment. So, as predicted, that share price is dropping down. It was up at 26, 25. It's coming down to 24. This doesn't worry me. This doesn't worry me. And people will say, oh, it's a scam. We've all been played, this, that, and the other. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think some people might have jumped the gun. I think, a little sniff of Qatar are going to win this race, and we know what social media is like. I think that price is going to come down because United have basically, or somebody is playing it down. You know, when you've got people like Ben Jacobs saying that nothing's expected officially in the next few days, then probably nothing's going to happen in the next few days. So that share price will start to drop down because there's no anticipation that it's going to happen today anymore. I think last night when I went to bed, I was thinking, yeah, you know, we're going to get something big today. But it feels again now like we're going to drop back into nothing's going to happen for a few days. But what I will say is I still think that Qatar will win the race because everything I said last night still stands true. Everything we read last night still stands true. Many experts feel that we're in the end game, and many experts feel that Qatar have the lead. Certainly in the last few days, PSG, all that talk, I think that pushes Qatar in front. The share price going up like that suggests something. It might not be done deal, but it suggests something. And as we know, we've had that story coming out of Qatar as well. So I think that something is happening. My perception of it is the race isn't over yet, but Qatar are winning this race. And I think some people might have, you know, in a football analogy, put it like this, because people will be like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means. If this was a football match, Qatar are 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go and they're dominating the play. That's where I think we are. It's not over, but I think I think we know where it's going to head. That's where we are at the moment. Of course, people will say many teams have blown a 2-0 lead with 10 minutes to go. And of course that can happen. But I think that's where we're at. I would monitor the share price. If you're not interested in that sort of stuff or you don't really understand that, I would keep an eye on it because if it comes down, it means that, you know, we're not quite there yet. If it goes back up again, that means something's about to happen. So I would start keeping an eye on that because as much as share prices might bore people, they've never been so interesting. As I say, Man United's share price for the last week has been stable around $18, $19. It went up to $25. That put $1 billion value on the club. That's a lot of money and that's a lot of transactions. The New York Stock Exchange opens at 2:30 p.m. UK time. Watch what happens with that share price between 2:30 p.m. and 9 o'clock UK time tonight. When that's open on the New York Stock Exchange, you get a lot more transactions when the stock exchange is open. See what happens today. But Graham says it's a knee-jerk reaction, happens all the time on the stock market. However, there is very rarely smoke without fire in the city. And I think Graham has probably put that very eloquently. Exactly. You're always going to get spikes, and that's why I think we need to see what happens today. But Graham is absolutely spot on. I don't think there's any smoke without fire on this. Sanish, welcome to the Members Club. We need Qatar for the future of our club, says James. And New York Stock Exchange doesn't open till 2:30, so that'll be interesting to see what happens with the price from then. Exactly, Jack. Good morning, Mark. Can we do a New York Stock Exchange watch along? Yeah, yeah, we're not doing that. Good morning, Mark. It's 5 a.m. here, and I could barely sleep after the news broke last night. Let's get this done and start the transfer window strong, says Z3. And not always necessarily the case. It's just the guys who are holding, taking their profits at the top. It's normal for a drop at market open with that much gain overnight, says Cantu. Yeah, I agree. I agree. My prediction is it's going to drop a lot. But, as I say, I'm no expert on this. If it goes up, you know, happy days. Do shareholders know information before it gets leaked to the media, says Dana. And I'm going to leave a mince pie and a carrot out tonight. Christmas could be coming early, says John. Look, the most important thing, we're a news show on a morning, you know that. The most important thing is, I said this to you last night, we could have gone live at 10 o'clock when this broke. We went live at about 11:05 because sometimes I think it's important to get out there, make a few phone calls, send a few WhatsApps and try and understand what's happening because you're live and you're going, oh, look, there's this story. And when I'm live, I can't be on the phone and going this, that and the other. So last night we made the conscious decision just to wait a little bit. And we were hitting a brick wall and everyone else was hitting a brick wall because everybody was saying nothing's coming out. Everyone's tight-lipped. United, sources to United, Rain Group, Qatar, Sir Jim, nobody's saying anything. So wherever that came from last night is leaked information because officially, well, they're all part of NDAs, aren't they? Non-disclosure agreements. So nobody's saying anything. So But what I would say, and this is a really good explanation, and I saw a Twitter account mention it last night, and is it Swiss Ramble? I think they were on about it last night, and they're absolutely spot on. It was a very good thread on it actually last night. I was reading it about 2 o'clock in the morning. I got no sleep last night. I was just reading all sorts of stuff about stock exchanges and everything. So I feel like I'm going to make £1 trillion today on the stock exchange. But on a serious note, they were basically saying that if you think about the 9-2 Foundation with Qatar, or INEOS with Sir Jim, or the Rain Group, or Manchester United, that's not 4 individuals. That's hundreds of people. We live in a world of social media. We live in a world of leaks. I mean, as Graham says, there's no smoke without fire. Somebody has said something close to that deal, and it's leaked out. Now, it could be a lie, it could be true, but look, you can't keep everything quiet. And some people don't want to believe it because it doesn't fit their rhetoric, and some people want to believe it because they're just obsessed with it happening. The truth will be somewhere in between. The reality is, over the last 3 weeks, it's felt like Sir Jim was winning the race, and we've had a lot of information coming out about Sir Jim and Glazers and everything like that. And he was winning the race. Well, now we're getting a lot of stuff that Qatar is going to win. So maybe they are going to win. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of stuff for 3 weeks about Sir Jim was winning the race. And he was winning the race. Like, he definitely was. That's been clarified. So now we're getting a lot of stuff that Qatar's going to win. Well, no smoke without fire. Maybe that's what's happening. I know it's not a given, but this time around it does feel like Qatar is going to win, says Jayesh. Oil me up, only full sale, says Red Smurf. Are we even sure that this Twitter account is legitimate? There's nothing on their website about it, says Reek. Well, it's not been deleted, mate. It's been kept up there. So, this is either the biggest propaganda spin from Qatar we've ever seen. But somebody was messaging me yesterday. I think it was Sam who does our Twitter, and he was saying that in Qatar they're not actually allowed to put information out unless it's been what's it called? Not ratified. I suppose ratified is the word, but not that their news is censored, but they don't normally put information out that's not. They don't have the Sun. Basically, they don't have that sort of news reporting. Qatar winning the race, Mbappe unsettled, surely not, says Dean. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Listed shares are almost entirely owned by institutional investors. Can't compare this to your average stock. Won't see pre-market volume like this if they are not confident about Qatar, says Q. Very exciting times, but at the same time, we'd need to be cautious with the stories. Great work, Mark. Happy to be a part of the community, says John. And Errol, welcome to the Members Club. I'm really, really proud of the community because I think unlike some people who just talk about, and I know, look, the world's a free place. You've got every right to watch and read what you want to, but a lot of the stuff I was reading last night when I'd finished was opinion. It was just opinion about why we don't want Qatar, why we want Sir Jim, why we want this, why we want that. Whereas I think we've spent a lot of time fact-checked, verified, exactly. A lot of people saying that. What people were telling me last night, that most verified, exactly. Somebody was telling me last night, in fact, numerous people were telling me, Sam, who does our Twitter and stuff, was saying that a lot of the news in Qatar, as he understands it, has to be fact-checked, approved and verified. That's the way they do their media. So, look, I think that what we've done over the last 12 hours has been fantastic as a community, and you've all contributed to it as well. We've had, really good information. You've had people like Faisal Islam, who's the BBC's chief economics editor. We've really delved into what's actually going on. And it's not our expertise, but many people have picked it up and we've ran with it. So I'm really pleased with what we've done because we're actually talking about stuff. We're talking about big boy shit here in the business world. Simon Stone's put a tweet out and says sources involved in the Man United sale have played down the accuracy of reports of a successful Qatar bid, says Simon Stone. So that's what I mean. The race is still on, and that's the official line that's coming out now. This is why I think the share price will plummet. I don't think nothing's in it. I think I really want to just get this very, very clear because people will start going on the roller coaster here, and we've never been on the roller coaster. We've chased the facts, and there's people out there saying oil me up and all this, that, and the other, and I think that's why. I know somebody in real life like this, and they're a depressive because their moods are up and down like a yo-yo. They can't control it. It's the highest highs and the lowest lows, and We don't need to do that as a fan base, because last night everyone's going, Qatar, Qatar, oil me up, oil me up. And then this morning they're like, oh, it's all over. It's not. There is something really in between here. What Simon Stone is saying, what Ben Jacobs is saying, is exactly what I told you last night. Before I went live, I was putting in these WhatsApps to people who are, you know, good journalists and well known, and they're saying nothing, tight-lipped, nothing's coming out. And we're in exactly the same position this morning. All that's happening now is they're actually putting those tweets out. Ben Jacobs, Simon Stone, I'm sure Mike Keegan and others will follow. The official line is this deal is not done. But you know what? Have you ever kept a secret? I've done it 3 times in my life. I've known that I'm pregnant with my wife and we didn't tell anyone for 8 weeks. She was still pregnant for 8 weeks. But we didn't tell anyone, because a lot of people do that when they get pregnant, you know, because in the first few weeks of having a child, a lot of things can go wrong, you know, so you don't want to tempt fate. And I think that don't be a roller coaster. Don't start going, oh, I thought it was done and now people are saying nothing's confirmed, because sometimes, especially on something like this, they might have a plan of when this is going to get announced. There might still be a few things to sort out. They might be 80% of the way. You know, there might be one little thing left to do. It might, but look, that's a good example. With my first child, we didn't tell anyone for 8 weeks, but we knew after 3 weeks that we were pregnant. So for 5 weeks, we weren't saying anything to anyone, but we knew, and that's how things can work. So I'm not concerned about Simon Stone or Ben Jacobs saying the official line is that nobody's confirming anything at the moment, because there's many reasons why they wouldn't do that. If it is Sir Jim, would have been accepted weeks ago, says Dan. Mitch, welcome to Members Club, and Dean as well, and also Errol. Thanks everyone for supporting the channel. Red Smurfs just gifted 10 memberships. Thank you very much. Look, the big thing I want to say though, and there's a lot to get through this morning. We're not pregnant now, don't worry. Definitely not. Definitely not. But this is the big thing I want to say. Somebody just said these streams are turning into joke. It's so unreliable information, but you're not listening then, because for an hour last night and for the first 18 minutes today, what we're giving you is proper information. We're being dictated to by good journalists, how business works and share price, and this is something you really do need to take into account. This for me is the biggest one, and I think it was. It's something we've been talking about for a couple of weeks, and it's been confirmed from... Red Smurf says, Sports Bible says it's done. These people are just shooting from the hip and hoping they're right to be the first to break the news. It's appalling, but we've got the biggest and best Man United community. So we can only control what we do. I'm not going to sit here. I'm going to tell you a little... I need to tell you about the stock. Remind me about the stock, but really important point. But let me just say on this. I could sit here right now with 20,000 people and say, don't worry, everybody, it's a done deal. I've heard they're keeping it quiet because they want to do a big announcement. They're learning how to play the piano. This deal's done. It's going to be done by the end of the week. Trust me. Trust me. And then there might be a few people who tweet it out and Goldbridge says it's done. He's heard it from a source. I won't do that, because I'm not like those people who will do that. They're doing that for some odd reason, because they think this is a transfer and they think it will give them credibility to be first. You're being first on a business transaction that will never happen again for the next 20 years. There is no glory in being an ITK or an in the know on the United sale. You are flipping a coin and you are guessing, because it's going to be Sir Jim or it's going to be Al Thani. We can all guess, and they are guessing. You know why we know they're guessing? Because it's not done. It's not official. It's not been signed. And in business, when you buy a house, you can buy that house. You can agree a fee. You can go through your solicitors. But on the day, until that money's moved, you've not bought that house. So for people to say, oh, it's a done deal, this, that, and the other, we might be very close. But they aren't there they're not there in the bloody boardroom, and they don't know, they're just guessing. So this is why there will be this roller coaster culture, because people are really excited. Oh, it's not happening. Really excited. Just be constant. At the moment, as I said, 2-0, Qatar are winning, 10 minutes to go. It's in there, and they've got control of the ball. They should win this race. But we're not at the final whistle yet. So chill. Just chill out. But I think it's looking really positive. I would keep monitoring the share price, but I would also take note of people like Simon Stone who are saying at the moment there is no imminent announcement of an official deal. But you know, the fact that Sport Bible or Lad Bible or Talk Sport or anyone like that is going to get the inside track on one of the biggest sports sales in history, not going to happen. That's not how it's going to happen. But what I do want to say is, and this is a big takeaway, remember the rumours of hedge funds associated to Manchester United taking legal action against Sir Jim and the Glazers. This is really important. We've spent a lot of time talking about share prices over the last 12 hours, but this is really important. And even Faisal Islam, the BBC economics correspondent, has clarified this. The Glazers want to sell their shares to Sir Jim. They only own 69%. 31% of those shares are owned by hedge funds and investors, and they are dictated to by the price on the stock exchange. Sir Jim only wants to buy the Glazers' shares. The 31% don't get anything. They're looking at the legality of that because they get nothing, even though United sells. They don't get anything. So they're looking at legal challenges around that. That's really important because when and if Qatar buy Man United, they buy 100%. They buy all the Glazer shares and they buy the 31% that's listed on the stock exchange. And therefore, that's why the price goes up when people think Qatar are going to win, because you're going to get more for your money. If Sir Jim wins, they don't get anything. And that's a problem that they can technically, probably legally challenge. So I've always said this. The Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid doesn't actually make much sense because people say, oh, it's going to be hard for Qatar to buy Man United because there'll be challenges from other Premier League clubs. Well, it won't be hard for him to buy it because he's got the money and there's 100% sorted. Sir Jim has got to sort out some sort of weird deal with the Glazers, and then he's got to solve all the problems with the 31% who aren't going to get a penny. So I would always look at this deal the way I have looked at it and gone, if the Glazers want to sell, they'll sell to Qatar because Qatar want to buy. If Eric Ten Hag gets all his first choices, will we win the Premier League, says Chris? I don't know, mate. And Mark, I love the show and you cheer me up. And it's my birthday as well, says Edward. Happy birthday to Edward. Thank you for keeping us updated on sale. I feel well informed on the roller coaster this sale has been. Top job, United stand, says Drew. And got so excited this morning about the Qatar news that I completely forgot about the other half's birthday. Could you wish Sarah a happy birthday to me, says Paul? Well, that's the best present anyway, Paul. Sarah, I presume it's Goodwin. Maybe you haven't got married. But Sarah, you've got a happy birthday from 22,000 people, you know. Paul's been a bit excited about the sale, but there you go, Sarah. Happy birthday. Not many people get that on a live stream, so well done. Hope you have a good one. Can we look? The share price for United is now down below $24, so it's coming down as predicted, and it's coming down quite steeply at the moment. It was up at $25 at 4 a.m. and it's now down to $23.50. So it's coming down quite a lot. But we just have to keep an eye on it. Local club just got promoted and our club is hopefully getting rid of the Glazers. Could be a perfect start to the summer real quick, says Federico. Look, just do what you want, but don't get overly concerned about the peaks and troughs here. What does our thumbnail say? The race is still on. Now, we've not spoken about Sir Jim. He's on the thumbnail. Getting any news out of Sir Jim, I said this last night, is really, really difficult. I mean, Sir Jim's quite happy to let the story be that he's going to keep the Glazers, that he's going to keep the debt. So he's not bothered about positive PR. They are really quiet at the moment. In fact, the only story I could find about Sir Jim was that if he is unsuccessful, he'll pump the money into Nice. So, I mean, that's the only thing that's out there about Sir Jim at the moment. Suffice to say that, as far as they're concerned, no decision has been made yet. Sujoy says, little scared about when Ben said in the interview yesterday regarding management changes if Qatar comes in and the amount of time it's going to take for them to employ the right people as they don't have past football experience, says Sujoy. Yeah, but I think that's just perception. I mean, you know, I know what you're talking about. So we had Ben Jacobs on last night talking to Beth. It's a really good interview. It's well worth a watch if you get the time. And he was saying that, you know, Sir Jim Radcliffe's got a team of people that he wants to bring in if he's successful, including Sir David Brailsford. Well, he's a cyclist expert. Get on your bike. I mean, I don't feel like Sir Jim Radcliffe's got a team of experts. He's got no football pedigree at all. Nice hasn't worked. So, and to say that Sir Jim's got a better team behind him for Man United than Qatar, well, I've got a better team than Sir Jim's got if I've got billions of pounds, because all I'm going to do is make a couple of phone calls and then get the best CEO, the best director of football, and let them build it. I'm not worried about that. You know, Sheikh Jazim's not going to win the bid and then come in and put himself as director of football. Doesn't take long to build a good recruitment team and a good board, and you just go and recruit the best. That's what you do. I mean, look at what Villa have done. They've just gone and got what's his name? Is it Monkey? They've just gone and got the Sevilla director of football. They were trying to get the Barcelona director of football. I mean, Aston Villa, they're not messing about. I just saw that Liverpool have submitted a 60 million bid for Valverde. Where we not connected with him last summer, he could leave. We should bring it on it. I can't see Valverde going to Liverpool for 60 million. I really, really can't. So Jim's just a British Glazer, says Alexander. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe, by the way, because we're ready. We're ready on this channel. This community is ready. Imagine Mbappe and Rashi together, terrifying defence. I want to move on to some transfer stories, but as a summary, Monchi, that's his name. It could be pronounced Monkey, but I don't know. It might be Monchi. I'm rubbish with names. But where we are at the moment is the United. So let me give Goldbridge's summary. Where we are right now. Last night, breaking news, Qatar are going to win. Last night, share price goes from around $20 to $25, which adds about $1 billion on the value of Manchester United. This morning, credible outlets are saying there is no news at the moment, no official line. Share price is starting to come down a bit. That's where we're at. Some people will go, oh, it was a red herring, it was a fake report. Perception, belief, no. There's no smoke without fire, like Graham said. I think something's happening. I just think we're a little bit short at the moment. So I feel like, as I said, as an analogy, some people thought the final whistle had gone last night. I think we're 10 minutes left in the game and Qatar are winning 2-0 and they've got the ball. That's where we're at. Is that not the whole point? A new owner getting a new backroom team in? The team we have now is hopeless, says Dazzo. And hi Mark, thanks for the daily updates. Happened to watch your show in Clapham, London, loved it. Much appreciation from Indonesia, says Jason. Well, thank you very much, Jason. If you want to watch the Dublin show, remember it's on the members section. Sandy says you change your mind a lot, Mark. I change my mind every day about lots of things, yeah, because I follow the evidence. I'm not a sheep. I'm not a rat. I don't follow the Pied Piper. That's not Mike Keegan calling me. You follow the evidence on something like this, and you follow the experts on something like this. Simon Stone has said that the reports from Qatar came from senior Qatari representatives, so take that as you will, says Jack. Let's just have a quick look at some updates here. I do want to talk about the David De Gea story because it's really, really interesting. But I just want to make sure that we've covered everything off here. So yeah, some other stuff coming in from Simon Stone. Let me just clarify for this. Well, CNBC are saying that shares of Manchester United rose as much as 16% in pre-market trading on Tuesday after Qatari media suggested Sheikh Jazim bin Hamad Al Thani was likely to succeed with his takeover bid. You see, that in itself is a very different line, and I quite like that. I don't think, and I've not read, and correct me if I'm wrong here, this is why I'm quite relaxed, I've never read deal done. James, welcome to the Members Club. I've never read anybody say deal done. I've never read it. I've never read any outlet say deal done. What I've heard is, and CNBC have got this absolutely spot on. So CNBC are obviously based in America with 5 million followers. They're spot on. The reports last night were that Qatar was likely to succeed. Yes, and I think that's what's caused all this. Likely to succeed. 10 minutes to go, 2-0 up, you've got the ball, you're likely to win the game. I think that's exactly where we're at. People are so hungry for, oh, it's done, they're holding up the shirt. I don't think the game's over yet. The race is still on, but the Qataris are winning at the moment. Simon Stone has said that sources involved in the sale have played down the accuracy of reports of a successful Qatari bid. Well, it wasn't a successful Qatari bid source anyway. It was, they're close. Eric Ten Hag is keen to do business to strengthen his squad, and a belief some resolution to the United ownership saga triggered by the Glazer family in November has to be resolved soon. Several parties have offered to buy minority stakes, although as the process has dragged on far longer, the experts expected the Glazers taking the option has appeared to be increasingly unlikely. So yeah, numerous bits of information coming in there. Somebody said that Fabrizio might have tweeted on this. I don't think he has. He's way too busy talking about Ndika and Roma for that. I want to move on to some transfer stories, so we will do that in a minute. Look, most people in the UK are basically going with this line. There's massive confidence in Qatar that they're going to win, but it's still a two-horse race. And as we've said with our thumbnail, the race is still on. That's where it is. And let's have a quick look. Yeah. Simon Stone did confirm that the Qatari successful bid rumours originated from Qatar and involved senior officials at media organisations linked to the family of Sheikh Jassim. So I don't want to scaremonger at all, because I really don't think what I'm about to say really matters. But there's two ways of looking at that, isn't there? So the story originates from senior officials in Qatar linked to news organisations owned by Al Thani's dad. On the one hand, that sounds really interesting. On the other hand, could that backfire and the Glazers say, you're part of an NDA, why is that coming out? Look, there's no smoke without fire here. And I reckon, in fact, I'm happy to say it, I'm pretty sure that if you want to understand this situation with a Goldbridge analogy, do it in a footballing way, you're 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go and you've got the ball. That's where we are. We've not had the final whistle. There's still Sir Jim in the race, but it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good, bruv, at the moment. We need this to be over. It is playing with our mental health. The Glazers have never and will never understand that this club is more than just a football club to us. We want and need owners who understand that, says Red Smurf. Doha News and Arabian Business News are now reporting it, Mark, says Adam. Hi, Mark. Can you please check the tweet by Said Al Hamad confirming the Qatari takeover, says Samir. I've read it last night, mate. We read it on the show. Magic, welcome to the Members Club. Mark, that's putting pressure card by Qatar to accelerate the process involving the stock price and attention of exchange regulators, says Abdullah. Look, the amount of people that message me and the amount of people that have said stuff, and I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. There's many ways you can put the pressure on. Can you imagine now if they announced a gym on Thursday, what would happen? Like the world, it would be incredible. But the pressure needs to be put on. I'm not interested in Sports Bible. They've never been credible in relation to business news. With all due respect, got no problem with them. But Sports Bible are not David Ornstein. And the deal isn't done. Even the Qatar News report doesn't say deal done. It just says very optimistic. Hi, Mark. Me and my brother love the show, says Nitro. And I read on a new US stocks blog tomorrow, there's a call between Qatar, Glazers and lawyers Darcy's pushing for full sale due to legal issues of Jim's bid, taking with a pinch of salt, but still hopeful, says Stuart. So we're at Tuesday. We'll have to just wait and see. I think the most significant... we're going to move on to some transfer news, but I think the most significant update today will be what the stock... I think the most significant thing to keep an eye on today will be the share price. As we said, if that share price goes anywhere near $30, it's a done deal. If it drops down to around 20, we are where we are. If it stays around 25, I think it's pretty much going to happen as well. It is coming down at the moment, but the New York Stock Exchange opens at 2:30. So I'm interested. It's gone up again a little bit, actually. It's nearly $24 at the moment. So keep an eye on that stock exchange. We'll put some tweets out as the day goes on. But I think that is something to keep an eye on. Fingers crossed for Qatar. Let's make the City treble the peak of their success. As Eric says, era's come to an end, says Michael. Look, let's move on a little bit. I just wanted to... Oh, God, I've got so many WhatsApps. I've just scanned them there. Let me just check. Yeah, pretty much as we've been discussing. Okay. Right, let's just have a little bit of transfer news because the Kylian Mbappe story sort of fits in with this as well. But the first one I want to talk about is David De Gea. On a normal morning, we'd be leading on this. This is big, big news, and it's coming in from Fabrizio. So normally, this would be our headline story, and I'm sure a lot of people would get excited about it. So Fabrizio Romano has said that Saudi clubs are aware of the verbal agreement at final stages between David De Gea and Manchester United over a new deal, but they're still insisting to tempt the goalkeeper. Man United remain on the market for the new goalkeeper in any case. So we've discussed this situation a little bit. Look, the cold, harsh truth is, and it's been publicly stated anyway, but it's the story behind the scenes. United have been working on a new contract with David De Gea for months. Erik ten Hag has signed it off. David De Gea is pretty happy with it. The club are ready for it to be announced, but there is a hold-up. Now, the hold-up now appears to be that David De Gea is wanting to know who the goalkeeper is that United are going to bring in, and he has got options on the table now with Saudi Arabia. So, careful what you wish for, because David De Gea could take a huge, ridiculous amount of money and just walk away. He's out of contract in 2 weeks' time. So, David De Gea could walk. The contract's there. It could be signed at any time that he stays, but he could walk. So, United are now in a position where they don't have the money to go and buy an Onana or a Costa because they need to buy other priorities. But their goalkeeper that's meant to be their number one next season could walk. Now, I still don't think that will happen, but Saudi Arabia are interested in David De Gea, and there may be a couple of other clubs that are interested. And he is free, and there might be an offer where he just goes and takes it. In which case, he walks out the door like Juan Mata did last year, and we don't have a goalkeeper. Now, people are going, quite rightly, because this is just the way minds work, oh, I hope he goes. I hope he goes, because then we can go and buy Costa. We ain't got the money for Costa now. We haven't got the money if David De Gea goes. We don't get any money for David De Gea. There's no Saudi Arabian 50 million quid. He walks out the door for nothing. If he walks, we've got Dean Henderson in goal next year, basically. The reason United haven't sold Dean Henderson yet, even though Forest are ready to do a deal, is because United are waiting to see what happens with De Gea now. If De Gea stays, Dean Henderson's getting sold. If De Gea goes, Dean Henderson might stay, because United haven't got the money to go and buy a £50 million goalkeeper. And some people don't seem to understand this, but that is the situation. If David De Gea signs the contract, we haven't got 50 million to buy Costa. If David De Gea doesn't sign the contract, we still haven't got 50 million to sign Costa. So Dean Henderson could end up being our number one next year if David De Gea doesn't sign the contract, which terrifies me. I think that's a massive step down. It's all if buts and maybes, but I think where we're at the moment, based on the budget we're going to have, we haven't got the money to buy Onana or Costa because we need 2 strikers, 2 midfielders. We haven't got the money for a goalkeeper. So everyone going, oh, I hope De Gea doesn't sign and he walks. Be careful what you wish for, because it'll end up being Dean Henderson as our number one, because we haven't got the money at the moment to go and get the goalkeeper that we would like to replace De Gea with. So as much as some people are getting excited about that, I can only give you the news, and that's why Dean Henderson to Forest hasn't happened yet, because United are watching this De Gea situation sort of going, shit, we didn't see this coming. I think United felt that they could take the time with De Gea because he had no other options. What we're now hearing is United are sort of going, oh shit, we should have got this done a little bit quicker, because Saudi Arabia has appeared and suddenly you can be Kante on £100 million a year. David De Gea, his contract at United is about 15 million a year. So it puts into context, and he's got to take a pay cut. They want him to go down to 10 million a year. So even if Saudi Arabia are offering 50 million a year, it's still a massive, massive amount. So we'll have to keep an eye on what happens with that. Wealthy private investors dictate the market value when trading closes. With the shares still floating around last night, value even after this morning information makes me confident, says Michael T. Maybe this is all a discreet way for the club to let potential transfer targets who are new owners will be. Also, Darcy owns more percentage of United than other siblings, says Javier. And thank you very much to Red Smurf. Of course, we'd read that. So keep an eye on the David De Gea situation. My personal feeling is that he'll sign the new contract and he'll stay. But honestly, I don't want him to go if it means Dean Henderson's our goalie next year. I really don't want that. But it would be, you know what, I agree. I agree with, what somebody in the chat just said. Manuel just said, that would be incompetence all around if that happened. It would, because whatever you think about David De Gea, remember he's got a value. I mean, what is David De Gea? 32. Even on the open market, he's still worth 15, 20 million. Some might say a little bit more. So, you're letting a player walk out the door for 15, 20 million, and then you're keeping a player like Henderson who you're just about to get 20 million for. It's just incompetence if that happens. But I think Henderson will be sold, and I think we will get hold of him. Stock price watch, it's just gone over $24, so it's going back up again. It's peaking and troughing a little bit at the moment. What we need with that stock price is for it to stay around $25. Donnelly says, great show today and last night, chat. Well, we're all learning stuff, aren't we? But the shares are going back up, which is good news. We want that to happen. But as I said, even if you don't understand it, if the share price hits $30, it's over. $25, it's on the way to being over. Goes below $20, we're back where we were at the start of the week, where it's a 50-50. So keep an eye on that stock price. The fact that it's still stabilising, to me, suggests what Graham said fantastically at the start of the show. There's no smoke without fire. There's information out there. It's just not official. But I think it's going to happen. Kylian Mbappe. What are the chances of Kylian Mbappe coming to Manchester United? Look, so I've got a video on That's Football going up at 11 actually about the Kylian Mbappe situation, so I don't want to go too much into it, but I'll totally make this about United because that's not really about United. I've always said to you, and I think some people have agreed with me, and no news is good news. All hope it gets resolved soon so we can start spending some pounds, says Dean Adams. Thank you. Well, there's not, Dean's absolutely spot on. There's not been any flat denial that Qatar are going to buy the club, has there? We've heard premature, but we've not heard denial. If De Gea does go, wouldn't a first-class keeper move up the priority list, says James? Well, yeah, it could happen, James. It could happen, but, In relation to Kylian Mbappe then, so he is effectively saying that he wants to leave PSG, and we all know that he wants to go to Real Madrid. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and next summer he'll be free. PSG, therefore, have got to make a decision on Mbappe because you can't let the world's best player leave on a free. So they've got to do something this summer. And it looks like Kylian Mbappe could be the big signing of the summer now. And there's an 80% chance he's going to end up at Real Madrid. There's probably a 10% chance he'll sign another contract at PSG. And then there's probably a 5% chance that he'll come to the Premier League. 5% chance he'll probably go to Saudi Arabia or something like that. So it's a very low chance he'll even come to the Premier League. But what I would say is, if United were owned by Al-Thani and PSG needed to sell, they would sell him to us because they don't like Real Madrid. Now, whether Mbappe would come to Man United is another thing. He might say, I'm not going to Man United, I'm going to run my contract down, I want to go to Madrid. But PSG would try and sell to Manchester United rather than Real Madrid, especially if Al Thani owned the club, because obviously there's a relationship there. It's a small chance, but it's probably no chance. Well, it's no chance under our current ownership model, but if we were owned by Al Thani, there's a small chance, and that's what I would say. Of more interest to me, and this has got nothing to do with anything apart from the sale of Manchester United, I've always said that it wouldn't surprise me if Al Thani bought Man United that PSG got sold. Many people feel that won't happen. We even had the president saying at the weekend that he loves PSG. So, but Neymar's about to leave. Messi's already gone. Mbappe wants to go. That PSG project, what is it now? You know, who are the superstars at PSG now? Like that PSG project needs building again, and I don't think they'll ever be able to build it as good as it was. So maybe the PSG thing is going to end anyway, and it's all going to be lumped onto Manchester United. I don't know, but I certainly think that if, and it does look like it will happen, but if we get bought by Al Thani, nobody can predict the future. Nobody can predict the future. So we don't know what the future will be. We don't know whether we'll be able to buy people like Kylian Mbappe, the best players in the world. So we'll have to just wait and see. The stock price is around $23.75 at the moment if you're on the right website. I've got it absolutely live. So it's stable at the moment. 2:30 is going to be the biggest thing. 2:30 will be when the New York Stock Exchange opens. When the New York Stock Exchange... You can always trade on the stock exchange, but most trades are done when the stock exchange is officially open. So keep an eye on that one. Okay, it's been a... I hardly had any sleep last night, so I'm trying to just... I need a pint of coffee. But no doubt we are going to be live quite a few times today. The staple shows will be 8 o'clock tonight. We've got a journalist on for you at 4 o'clock today, so don't miss that show. And obviously, anything that sort of breaks will go live or do a video on as well. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the video. You don't want to be missing these community reactions when things happen. I think we're doing it the best because I think we are the best as a collective. And I think the way that we focused in on the share price and it sort of explained how that's going really is the reason that many people are feeling optimistic. I'm not going to be on the roller coaster. I'm not going to be last night, it's done, and this morning it's not done. I just think we are moving towards Qatar. And as I said, I've said it so many times, I may as well say it again. Just because it's done doesn't mean you don't announce it yet. And also, I think it's not done. I think this is a 90-minute game of football. There's 10 minutes to go, and Qatar are winning 2-0, and they've got the ball. And I think that's where we're at.